So tonight we're gonna record a little bit of a different type of video. After I found out that my husband had been sleeping with men for most of my marriage, he flipped out and became violent, and I suffered from some domestic violence, and then he threatened to kill himself, and the police came, and during all of this, one of my sisters came over, my twin sister. I was very traumatized. I haven't slept in 3 nights. So my police report was very, like, all over the place. Like, I was a train wreck. I had been held in the shower. I had been held in the bathroom. All kinds of terrible things had happened to me. The minute the police left with my husband, my twin sister ran up to my room and said she thought she saw a fentanyl patch in my drawer. And the fentanyl patch turned out to be a foot soak patch, like to get all the dead skin off your feet. She's like, oh, I thought I saw a fentanyl patch. And then eventually she left, and then the next day, my older sister from Vernal, her name's Jenny, she came to my house, and I collapsed into her arms thinking, oh my God, she came in, my worst times, and this has been awful, and I started from the beginning, and I told her everything about what happened in my marriage, and she kept texting people, and I just took her word for it. She said she was texting her children. It turns out she was texting my sisters, and they were planning a intervention for drugs that I did not do. For the fentanyl, that my sister was like, oh, you're on fentanyl. You're on some drugs. And so at like 5 p.m., my sister from Vernal, who I was like crying, I was so grateful she was there, got there at about, the other 2 sisters got there at about 5 o'clock, and I thought it was really weird. Becky and Angie got there at 5 o'clock, and I was like, what's going on? And they were like, we think you need to go to rehab. And I was like, rehab for what? Progesterone? They don't detox people off of progesterone in rehab. My sister went up to my medicine cabinet, and she was like digging through it, and she's like, why do you have so much progesterone? Progesterone is just like a female hormone, and I had 90-day supplies of it because they don't care. I was very vulnerable at the times, so I was like, sure, you can take my meds and cut them in half and do whatever the fuck you want with them because I don't feel safe and I'm scared and I'm terrified. And they were like, well, at least come to Becky's house. And so I was like, okay, I'll go to Becky's house. And I go to Becky's house, and they fill a med planner, and I have half the meds that I need for the week. So they've given me half of everything. So, number 1, I'm not sleeping. At a time when I really desperately need to be sleeping, my husband had just been carted off to jail. My brain was going a million miles a minute. I was having a manic panic attack every minute of every day. I really, really needed to sleep. And then my belly started to get really tense, like cramping, and it was from the lack of progesterone. You can't just half my progesterone and expect my body not to like react, right? And half my other meds and expect my body not to react, especially like at my anxiety meds, things that I definitely needed at this time. And so I'm talking to my mom, I'm talking to my dad, I'm talking to my stepdad. My stepmom is on a lot of the same meds I am because she has a fused disc in her neck like I do. She takes progesterone and testosterone just like I do. And she's like, you need to get your meds back. Like, your sisters can't just decide that they get to half all those meds. Fuck that. Call them, get your meds back. So I told my sister, my twin sister that had them, I was like, I need my meds back or I am calling the police. And she refused at first. No, you agreed to this. And I said, no, I agreed to this when I hadn't slept for 3 days and I was not in my right mind. I'm in my right mind now and I need my meds back. And then she brought them back to Becky's, and she said, I only brought them back to Becky's under the condition that Becky is going to manage them. And I said, fuck no. Nobody's managing these but me. And I grabbed a bag of meds and I took them downstairs. I said, we're staying 1 more night because the kids are playing, and then we are leaving. Now, because I didn't go through with their weird little, like, intervention, my sister from Vernal stopped talking to me completely. The one that came and like set it all up and had me crying to her all day about like everything that had happened in my marriage up to that point. She stopped talking to me. And then so did Becky, the one whose house I stayed at. Angie came and went. Imagine needing your sisters as much as I needed my sisters in that moment with everything that I had just gone through. And being completely deserted by them. Completely deserted. I was alone in my house with my 3 boys, fighting a battle, all alone. What did everyone expect? What did you guys expect after that failed intervention? There's more. Angie went to said husband who cheated on me and beat me up and then tried to kill himself and got himself sent to the hospital and charged with like assault and battery. She went and tried to set up an intervention with him. We need to get Sammy into a rehab ASAP. And he was like, what? And she was like, yeah, she's doing way too many drugs. He's like, she's not. She's not on drugs. What are you talking about? She's been on drugs for years. I know it. At least 3 years. You mean since our baby was born? Because he was extremely colicky. Nobody would help him with him. And she suffered severe postpartum depression. And she took that and told everybody that I was using drugs because of it. My postpartum must be drug use.